They said Shedeur Sanders wasn't a leader. They said he was arrogant. They said he was more hype than substance. Yet when 65,000 fans sat in stunned silence, watching a rookie kicker crumble under the pressure of an NFL season opener, Shedeur Sanders, who didn't even step on the field for a single snap, was the only one who showed the type of leadership coaches preach about, analysts rarely recognize, and fans never forget. And that single gesture, caught on camera and blasted across social media, generated 4.9 million views almost overnight, sparking debates on talk shows, fueling Reddit threads, dominating TikTok compilations, and shifting the entire perception of who Shedeur Sanders really is.
Internet without even trying. So we know the Cleveland Browns unfortunately took a loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Now in that loss, a lot of people is pointing fingers at their kicker. Well, Shedeur Sanders made it his business to, go speak to the kicker. Now with all that being said, Kevin Stefanski opened up about the kicker as well in a press conference, and he had some things to say about the kicker. And I know a lot of people is definitely speaking about this whole kicker situation in the media, and a lot of people is actually justifying Joe Flacco throwing him 2 damn picks too. We ain't forgot about that, but with that being said, man.
Before we dive deeper, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a second of this unfolding quarterback drama. While the majority of the football world was obsessing over missed field goals and blown opportunities, while headlines screamed about rookie nerves and coaching decisions, Shedeur Sanders quietly and effortlessly created the kind of buzz that most first-round picks dream about. And the crazy part is he wasn't even suited up. He wasn't throwing passes. He wasn't calling audibles. He wasn't even listed as active. Yet his name ended up trending across platforms because of how he handled a single, authentic, unscripted moment. Picture the scene. Cleveland Browns Stadium, September 7th, home opener. A crowd of 65,599 jammed into the seats. The energy electric because this was supposed to be the Browns' year. Joe Flacco was named the starter. Myles Garrett was healthy and expected to terrorize quarterbacks all season. The defense was touted as one of the AFC's best, and special teams were supposedly shored up thanks to Andre SCMYT, a rookie kicker plucked from the UFL who had beaten out the veteran Dustin Hopkins for the job, hailed by the coaching staff as their long-term answer at kicker. But the NFL has a cruel way of exposing weaknesses, and that's exactly what happened. The game tightened in the fourth quarter. Bengals up 17-6, Browns driving late, and with just 2 minutes and 25 seconds on the clock, they were perfectly positioned to make it a one-possession game and steal momentum, needing only a 36-yard field goal. A kick that in today's NFL is basically a glorified extra point, something kickers are expected to nail 95% of the time. But instead of the easy three, instead of celebrating a comeback win in front of their home crowd, the stadium collectively gasped as Andre SCMYT pushed it wide right, his second costly miss of the game after an earlier botched extra point that would have tied things up, leaving him devastated, shoulders slumped, head in his hands, fully aware he had just cost his teammates and his city the opener. And as cameras zoomed in, you could feel the weight of 65,000 fans and millions watching at home, silently branding him as a failure. Normally, in that exact situation, the unspoken rule of professional sports kicks in. You win together, but when someone fails, they fail alone. Teammates avoid eye contact. Veterans quietly fume. Coaches start preparing damage control for the post-game presser, and the guy who messed up is left to drown in silence. But not this time, because Shedeur Sanders, a rookie quarterback drafted in the 5th round, a guy many labeled as entitled because of his famous father, a guy who wasn't even in uniform that day, decided that this was his moment to step up. Not for himself, but for a teammate who desperately needed it. And with cameras rolling and social media poised to shred Andre SCMYT, Shedeur walked directly up to the young kicker, extended his hand, dapped him up, and offered a word of encouragement. A small act on the surface, but one that carried the weight of real leadership. Because no PR team scripted it, no coach whispered in his ear to do it. No cameras were staged to catch it. This was instinct, authenticity, and emotional intelligence in its rawest form.
Is the sickest feeling you can imagine, because your mistake hurts so many other people, and it is hard to shake it off. It is the sickest.
Now this post stated, Shedeur Sanders daps up the Browns kicker after he just lost them the freaking game. He wants to start his spot now after a loss. Good person, with the caption, but Shedeur doing this is a solid. It's just a solid, because I'm pretty sure the young man is frustrated himself. He missed a kick. He cost them the damn game. And, instead of them going to get quarterbacks, you need to be focusing on your special teams. Because they ain't nobody saying nothing about special teams, bro.
So now the burning question everyone's asking is, what exactly did Shedeur say to SCMYT in that moment? And why has this small exchange been labeled by analysts as proof that Shedeur is more NFL ready than anyone thought? Because when even longtime beat writers like Tony Grossi were admitting this wasn't about football anymore. This was about leadership, character, and why one sideline moment can change the way an entire league views a player. But to really understand it, you have to zoom out. Coming into the draft, Shedeur's resume at Colorado was stacked with production. Over 3,200 yards passing, multiple comeback wins, and a reputation for clutch throws under pressure. But scouts nitpicked his mechanics, questioned his decision-making, and more damagingly, whispered about his personality, saying he leaned too heavily on his father's name, saying he was too active on social media, saying he lacked the maturity to be the face of a franchise. And those whispers mattered, because despite first-round talent, he fell all the way to pick 144 in the 5th round, a drop fueled less by his arm strength or football IQ, and more by doubts about his character. Yet here he was in Cleveland, on the bench, not even in uniform, flipping that entire narrative in less than 10 seconds. Because 4.9 million people didn't just see a quarterback dap up a kicker. They saw authenticity. They saw empathy. They saw a young man choosing to lead when no one asked him to. And in a league where leadership is often manufactured, that authenticity stands out like gold. And the ripple effects were immediate. Fans flooded social media with praise, calling him a true leader, noting they saw the same thing at Colorado when losses piled up, saying this is exactly how you keep a locker room together, while the haters tried to turn it into a meme, joking, we can both get fired together, and mocking him for supporting the kicker who cost them the game. But even their cynicism couldn't drown out the reality that the NFL world had just witnessed something rare, something real. And when analysts from Skip Bayless to Adam Schefter to Bernie Kosar started weighing in, the tone shifted. Skip claiming Shedeur should have started the game, Kosar praising his work ethic and leadership, Schefter cautiously reminding him to stay disciplined, but admitting the optics were positive, and Sports Illustrated flat out giving him an A+ in leadership. The consensus became clear. The Browns may already have a franchise quarterback on the roster, sitting 3rd on the depth chart, showing more maturity and character than the guy actually starting. And this is where it gets fascinating, because red, yet it was that exact upbringing, the constant criticism, the pressure of living up to the primetime legacy that prepared him for this moment. Because while others froze, he acted naturally, instinctively, in a way that reflected the lessons his father drilled into him about real leadership. So now the Browns have a dilemma, because sitting on their roster is a 3rd-string quarterback who just showed leadership qualities their starter hasn't, who just turned a viral moment into a narrative-shifting cultural flashpoint, and who may already be winning the trust of both fans and teammates without throwing a single pass. And that's why this one gesture mattered more than any box score, more than any stat line, more than any draft grade. It was about authenticity, about perception, about how quickly the football world can turn when they see something real. And with 4.9 million views and counting, it's safe to say people saw it, people felt it, and people are now asking the question the Browns can't ignore. Is Shedeur Sanders not only their quarterback of the future, but maybe their quarterback of the present? So, don't skip a single second of this video. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Where are you watching from? Let's begin.